got this.
Uh,
The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Scotty
What's
J.
up, guys? This is DJ Zach.
Hey guys, you're out with Ambler.
Rock Titan Live on W4CY Radio every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern.
You're listening to Rock Titan Live.
W4CY Radio
You are listening to Rock Titan Live.
every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern. Rock Titan Live.
Every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern.
Scotty J.
DJ Zachy D.
Out with
Rock
Ambler.
Titan Live on W4.
All right, everybody. It's Tuesday night. It's 9 o'clock, which means you can only be watching and listening to one thing right now, and that's Rock Titan Live. And you are listening to and watching to W4CY Radio, of course. I've got my man Zachy D with us, finally catching back up. Haven't spoken since before Louder Than Life. And then we've got our wonderful engineer and occasional guest host, Rebel, down in Louisiana. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's still somewhat 50 Shades of Sunburn.
Oh, well, dude, I'll tell you what. I have no sympathy for you, Zach. None whatsoever.
I'm not asking for any, man. I'm not asking for any. It was worth it. It was worth it.
I love your duds tonight, though, man. So how is it exactly? So you and Rebel were both down at Louder Than Life. You know, Rebel's down there at a media capacity. You're just down there partying, and she ends up getting sick, and you don't. So, what's up, man?
I took a fair trade in sunburn.
Man,
Was
Rebel, are you feeling a
bad.
little better at least?
I am feeling better. Yes, I'm not 100% yet, but I'm a lot better off than I was before.
Man, so Zach,
That's
I mean,
good.
yeah, I know you had a good time. I know you had a good time at the show. Why don't you tell me some of the highlights, and then we'll get some of Rebel's highlights. I'm curious.
Well, let's see. There was a few bands I got to knock off the list of my big bucket list. Seeing Chevelle for the first time. Actually, by accident, wound up in the meet and greet for them at the Monster tent, just going to grab a Monster, and was just like, hey, what's this line for? Everyone's like, yeah, we're meeting Chevelle. I'm like, I'm staying. So I got to meet Chevelle, which was really cool. Got to see them for the first time. Got to see, who else did I see? I saw A Day to Remember for my first time. They were amazing. That was definitely, they're going to be on tour with I Prevail and Beartooth for the remainder of the year, the last few months of this year. So that's a great tour to go see.
Right on.
Well, seeing GNR was awesome. I was exhausted by the time they came on. But getting to see Lizzie, Joe, RJ, and frickin' Josh at the meet and greet, had waited 2 hours to go say hi to them.
Right
That's
on,
where
man.
most of these 20 shades of Farmer's Tan came from.
Aha.
But I don't care. It's so great to see them. They're such wonderful people, and they're on tour right now with Godsmack and Monster Truck.
Right
so if
on,
you're going to
right
be around seeing the tour, if they're coming near you, you got to go see that because they're all so good.
Nice,
So-
nice. Now I know one of
There's
the
a-
bands. I know one of the bands that was down there was Dirty Honey. Yeah.
Yes, they were. They were on the. I feel bad. I already forget. I think it was the Oak stage, which was like the main stage that the main headliners were on at the end of the night. But they were awesome. I heard them from afar, in line waiting for Hailstorm. But you could still see them and hear them from where we were. And man, they slayed it.
Dude.
They absolutely slayed it. And for a band, kudos to them for getting #1 on the Billboard with their song, man.
They're killing it.
That's just unsigned, right? If I
Yeah.
saw correctly, unsigned. I mean, dude, that gives me such excitement and hope for an up and coming group
man.
like my boys that you'll find out about soon. But that's just so cool. If
Yes.
you got great music, you got great music. No matter who you are, what it is, if people are gonna love it, no matter what.
That's it. You can make it as an
That's proof
independent
in the
band,
pudding.
man, as long as you got the chops. As long as you got the chops, man. And, the right representation, It doesn't hurt
Yeah.
to have a bad publicist. And I
No,
do
no,
happen
I-
to know that the publicist for Dirty Honey is the same publicist for Greta Van Fleet, for Slayer, for the Pixies. I mean, so
they're in good hands.
They're yeah.
They're in
they're pretty awesome. So these guys are well taken care of. But the thing that's really cool is tonight, everybody, we're actually going to catch up with Mark LaBelle, lead singer of Dirty Honey. And we're going to talk to him for a little bit. Had a little bit of time with him because they were on tour out in Wisconsin. And oh man, just I'm digging these guys big time. So I may come off a little fanboyish, all right, but man, they're killer. They're absolutely killer. So you're just gallivanting all around, louder than life, getting sunburned. That's so funny, dude, because I can see the freaking tan marks on your body right now, man.
Proud. Oh, dude, I was proud.
Look at you, man. Oh, that's great. That is epic, man. Oh, that's gonna stay with you for a while, dude. I'll tell you what.
It is.
You're going to have that tan line a lot longer than Rebel has her little, flu symptoms and whatnot. So, as you're running around, Rebel's all confined to the media tents. But how was it, Rebel? Did you have some fun at least? A little bit, other than getting sick?
Well, I was fine Friday, and I was fine for the most part on Saturday. I did not get to stay for GNR because I was turning, Hyvee.
Uh-huh.
No, people didn't say Ivy. I said Hyvee.
Hyvee. That sucks.
It did. It did suck greatly. I think I stuck around until we got to do an interview with Jelly Roll and his daughter. And then I was like, cool. I'm packing it up and going. Bye.
Oh.
My buddy Casey Jarvis is actually Jelly Roll's guitar player. So I was in a band with him years ago, and just getting to see a friend of mine that I've known for almost a decade be up there playing those stages and surprising him front row for that set that he played. It was such a cool moment. That was one of my favorite moments at the festival. Just not to interrupt you, but kind of you were saying Jelly Roll, and it made me think he's a Nashville native. And it's just, that was a really cool moment. And he's a cool human being, and his daughter is absolutely precious. So that's cool. You got to interview him.
Yep. We got to spend time with both of them.
Very cool.
I think that was the longest interview we had.
Really?
He could talk.
We mainly interviewed his daughter.
All right. Now, any other people of note? I mean, obviously it was a great ticket down there. All 3 days were awesome. But was there anyone in particular, Rebel, that you had a chance to speak with?
It was interesting talking to the things of Gore. I think they call them things. They're not War. Yeah, they're not people. They're
All right.
I'm not exactly sure what.
Oh my! Do they have costumes on?
They are what they are. They're not.
All
they're
right.
not like us. So of course they had
they
protruding
had to be
body
miserable.
things on their bodies.
They had to be miserable because it was so hot down there. Yeah.
Yeah, but they I guess from their planet they are amazingly adaptable to the heat on the Earth.
That sounds about right.
Oh man, yeah, I did. We cut up with a Pustulus Maximus. I don't know. I guess a little over a year ago. I guess we caught up with old Pustulus, and yeah, man. I guess they are, like you said, Rebel. Guys from outside our galaxy. They are more adaptable than most. I guess.
More than I am, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, did you get to enjoy any of the music? Did you get to see anything, or were you totally confined to the media tent the whole time?
I could have gone anywhere I wanted, but because the back-to-back interviews and in and out, no, I did not get to. But conveniently, for the first time this year, they had a large, extremely huge screen television that we could watch since most of the media people were confined back there doing interviews back to back. They did have the big screen playing for us, so we could at least see them. I know Hailstorm did an awesome show. Chevelle did an awesome show.
Oh man.
Stone Temple, I think it was.
Stone Temple Pilots, yes, they were
I got
great.
to see their show. I got to see a lot of people. Like, it's funny because if you listen to some of the interviews we did, it's like, oh yeah, they're doing the interview while watching the big screen TV, because they too, when the band members are not on stage, they're in the media tent or doing everything else they had to do, because they did kind of put them everywhere. And so they made it easier for the other band members to see other bands.
That's cool. Yeah, they had them in the VIP areas too, to the left and right of the stages. Because I was back in one of them, and they had TVs all over there. You thought you were like at like a big bar for like football or something. They just had the TVs everywhere in the bars, and everyone's just hanging out, partying, and just chilling, and it was really cool. But I can only imagine backstage. So
Well, what was really cool backstage, we also had blackened whiskey and Metallica's beer. I don't drink either.
Oh.
Yeah, they had the beer Pilsner.
All right.
Yeah, I don't drink beer at all, and I wasn't really, into drinking whiskey with. Let's see, the first day I ate toast, and the second day I ate toast and 2 eggs. So whiskey on that is not a very good idea.
No, no. I would no. Whenever, yeah, you got to go empty stomach with that stuff. I mean, because any food you have down in you, there's a real good likelihood that it's just gonna come right back up.
Yeah, and I wasn't unfortunately, I didn't get the alcohol, but yet on Sunday everything started coming right back up.
Oh, that sucks. That totally blows.
Well, we're glad you're better, though.
It literally blew, let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh God. What a bummer.
There's a lot of people at that festival, though, man. That heat was no joke. I saw people passing out left and right. It was insane.
Yeah, I would imagine that there had to be some pretty solid medical staff, like ready to rock and roll. I mean, aside from the heat,
oh my God,
I mean, just mosh pits and whatever else is going on. I mean,
I was in the pit for Hailstorm, and oh my God, even for Hailstorm, that was one of the most confined, claustrophobic experiences of my life.
Did you do any crowd surfing?
No, I was helping the crowd surfers surf and nearly break my wrists. The ones who want to crowd surf are the ones that think being 500 pounds, everyone's got them.
Now, are there any hygiene vendors there? Or are there any hygiene product vendors there, giving out?
No, actually,
no.
That's a great
you would think they would, right?
You would think, but no, there wasn't. It was
so you had to smell everybody's stink, everyone's hot, sweaty, wicked stink. Oh,
it was very dusty.
Blind.
Yeah. Oh man.
Very dusty, especially when I guess they call it the mosh area. It was very dusty. A lot of people had breathing issues, and
it happened. Yeah.
It was something. This is the first year it's been in this location.
Okay. All right.
The year prior it flooded.
Jeez. Well, speaking of dusty, Rebel, we got something a little dirty coming up here. All right. A little something called Dirty Honey, which, Zach, obviously you already got a taste of it when you were down there in Kentucky. And so we caught up with Mark. And Rebel, did you get the last file that I sent down there, the more recent one?
I am trying it. I think I'm just going to grab it off of the other one.
All right. So we want to try that because I tried to get you a better file, but I definitely want to share the interview that we just literally had with Mark, and they're on tour with Alter Bridge and Skillet right now, and it's pretty awesome. And then they're going to be going out with Guns N' Roses. I think in November they're going to be with Guns N' Roses. So for at least a couple dates. I'll tell you right now, Mark's got the face of a young David Lee Roth and the voice of a young Axl Rose. Now, for anyone that's heard Dirty Honey, they already know this. But, man, they're off the rails. I wanted to play Rolling Sevens, their official music video that everyone could check out here. I don't know that we're going to have time to do that. But in any event, everybody, I am going to play for you right now the interview that we just did with Dirty Honey. And Rebel, you're just going to pick up what I'm playing, so I don't need to give you a cue or anything like that?
We're good.
All right. Coolio. Well, Zach, you're going to have to go check this out, man. You're going to have to watch as we are streaming this radio show live right now. And, it's pretty cool. If not, obviously you'll be able to check it out later. But everybody, this is Dirty Honey on Rock Titan Live. So, welcome back to Rock Titan Live, and I've got a guest with me right now that I've been absolutely jacked up about talking to for quite some time. We got Mark, the frontman of Dirty Honey, the biggest band on the planet right now, burning up the rock charts. Mark, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What an intro.
Hey, dude, I'm just saying it the way it is. Now, I know everyone right now who's watching is like, oh man, Scott's going all fanboy on him. He's going all fanboy on Dirty Honey. And you know what, Mark, honestly, I never do this, man. I swear to God, I usually don't get this excited. But I gotta tell you, dude, from the minute I heard Dirty Honey's EP, and I mean Rolling Sevens and When I'm Gone, and oh my God, I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Where did these guys come from? Like, where the hell did you guys come from?
We've been playing some bars and clubs around LA for a little bit, and everybody's an accomplished musician on their own, and John and I really started this thing, and just wanted to play some rock and roll, man. Like, we did some gigs actually with Tim LaFave. He's a very renowned bass player. Played with like David Bowie, and he was in Tedeschi Trucks, and like even this guy was like he's literally like the best bass player on the planet. We'd swing by these bars that we'd be playing at, and he'd be like, man, it's just fun to swing through and like sit in on some rock and roll. And I was like, if this guy feels this way and he's played with everybody, I imagine there's some people out there that are starved for some classic rock and roll, soulful, bluesy, southern style shit. So it's been fun. It's been fun to see people reacting to it.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, and I really didn't want to bring this band up. I didn't want to bring it up because I don't like comparing bands. I just find that to be taboo. But I'm not gonna compare your music, okay? But I am gonna compare the attention that Dirty Honey is getting right now, and very deservedly so, to Greta Van Fleet. All right, two totally different bands, but it's like no one heard of Greta Van Fleet one day. All right. And all of a sudden, bam, they're on late night shows. And I mean, they're just burning it up. And, no sooner, are they out like a year and a half, not even 2 years. And they've already got a Grammy Award for Best New Rock Band, which right now, everybody watching Rock Titan Live, I predict Dirty Honey will get a Grammy right out of the gate. You guys, Best New Rock Band, hands down.
Is that even a Grammy?
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you because Best New Rock Band, dude. Come on, you're messing with me, right?
No, is that a Grammy? I don't know.
Yeah, come on. Well, you better get used to it. You better get used to it, Mark, because I think that Dirty Honey is going to be getting some really serious accolades, from the broader music community. I mean, I've followed bands.
Honestly, it's been crazy.
Oh my God, I've followed bands that have been playing for years and years and years. They're like 4, 5, 6 albums, full studio records deep, and they're still trying to make it, whatever that even means. But, one of the big things, I guess, going around about Dirty Honey right now is the fact that you guys aren't a signed band. Well, full well, as a lot of the other people in the industry, that, being signed isn't even necessarily where it's at. There's a lot of bands that prefer to remain independent right now, whether it's with their own label or, just going solo, whatever,
I just heard the Black Keys on Joe Rogan talking about their struggles with the record label. And it's like, how do those guys have problems like with the record label? And like they're one of the most successful rock bands, in the modern era, and like even they have like hoops to jump through when it comes to their label. So, it's an age-old tale, man, and to not have to deal with another, thing is definitely nice.
Yeah, man. Well, how long has Dirty Honey been together, Mark?
We're like just coming up on year 2 right now.
Holy crap. This is crazy. I mean, now you guys got to know you're good. You got to know that you've got a sound that's been resonating with your fans.
If we don't believe it, then how can we expect it?
Right. So, I mean...
That was actually something my manager said to me before he was my manager. I was trying to coerce him into coming out to a bar gig, which he doesn't do. And I said, dude, you're missing out on watching the best fucking rock band in the world. And he was like... Somebody else said, oh, you're humble, too, I can tell. We're in the locker room. And he was like, if he doesn't believe it, how does he expect me to? So, it took him a little time, but...
That's too funny. Well, everyone that I've been introducing Dirty Honey to lately, because our photographer... Ambler, Irby, she had a chance to, out with Ambler, I should say. Yeah. Ambler, we love you. Had a chance to catch up with you down in Raleigh, North Carolina with Alter Bridge and 10 Years, which of course now you're still on the tour trail with Alter Bridge and I guess Skillet, yeah?
Yep.
All right, yeah, and you're going to be doing that, and then you're going to be hitting the tour trail, I guess, in November, or at least you got a couple of shows, if I'm not mistaken, with Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses,
dude.
It's just a tiny band.
Yeah, right.
I've never heard of. Yeah, it's crazy, man. That's it's a dream come true.
You guys are seriously. I mean, you're playing with some huge bands, but I feel like you guys, literally, man, are already there. I mean, I feel like you guys are that freaking good. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. I would rather go see Dirty Honey than Guns N' Roses. I mean, I would. I personally would. I love Slash.
That's very high compliment.
Hey, man, I mean it. And I grew up with those guys. I'm a little bit older than you, you know, and they're amazing. They're legends. They've done some great stuff. But right now, if I'm paying money to go to a show, I want to see you guys. I don't want to see them.
I appreciate it. I would still go see them. We just played before them at a festival called Modern Life, and they were great, you know. There were 1,000 people there to see them, so it was really cool, man. Even that, like, just playing on the same stage as them, even though we were like 5 bands before, was pretty freaking cool. So
it's got to be humbling, I would imagine. But the way I've been describing you to people, it's like, imagine the face of a young David Lee Roth and the voice of a young Axl Rose. Do you get that? Have you had that comparison?
I get, man, the comparisons I get from singers, it's cool, man, because there's a lot of influences that people sort of project on me that I've never even heard of or listened to, and then, like, you know, they get in the same swoop, like, mention 10 of my heroes that I love more than anything, from Steven Tyler to Robert Plant. I get Axl a lot. I get Chris Robinson from the Black Crowes quite a bit.
Well, vocals, yeah. I mean,
it's never ending. Like, the range is from people from 1965 to, you know, 19. Chris Cornell is another big one that comes.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Well, you've got some sick chops, and I'm not even just talking vocals. I'm talking about the overall look. You know, you and your compadres and Dirty Honey, you all look like a bunch of rockers, man. So right now,
there's something to prove, you know, right now, and you know, I think that's always exciting to see a band that really has something to prove, and, you know, wants to prove that they belong every night. It's an exciting, you know, roller coaster to get on as a fan. Also, you know, I can remember that.
Man,
there's not been too many bands, but like Gary Clark Jr. comes to mind. I remember, you know, hearing about this blues cat, you know, he's the next Eric Clapton or whatever, and he's got to live up to that. And to go see him when he's catching fire one night is really cool.
Right on. So now Dirty Honey's been kind of leaking out songs in dribs and drabs here, you know, as far as singles. And it just seems like every single song you guys put out, like right away, bam, it is tearing up the charts. You know, I mean, literally, it's just tearing up the rock charts. What is the plan for Dirty Honey here? Let's just say, you know, we're headed into the winter season. You guys are on tour. Again, everybody, we're here with Mark from Dirty Honey, on tour with Alter Bridge and Skillet right now. You've got, like, 6 songs out there. I saw that you just released another one out there. Like,
yeah, so there's 7 out total.
And, okay.
Break You is the most recent release.
Yes.
Exclusively out on vinyl.
Right on.
Up until the last, like, couple days. And then, yeah, we're touring pretty much straight through just maybe a couple weeks before Christmas, and then picking back up in the new year, and then, you know, we'll head out and do some more stuff in the studio. I mean, we're always writing. We've got songs ready to go and record. It's just got a pretty good touring schedule coming up, so we got to carve out some time to get that done. And
okay,
we'll get it done though. Yeah, we're just starting single number 2 off the EP, so
man,
we got a lot of work to do with that one.
Wild. Well, Mark, I know that the time is sensitive, and again, you are on the tour trail right now, and you know, and voice yours, man. But I'm so thrilled for you. And I'm excited. And I mean, honestly, everybody, again, I don't want to hear your crap. I know you're gonna let me have it. You know, you're gonna say how much I was a suck up the Mark. I don't care because
we appreciate it.
Hey, man, as soon as I heard you guys, I was just like, wow. I mean, like, wow. Blown away, man. So I wish you much success. I know it's coming your way. I hope you're prepared for it. Are you prepared for it? Are you ready for some serious attention?
Like so far, we've been handling it pretty well. And
Yeah.
like I said, we were in Detroit last night, and it was the security guard at the merch table. We go out and sign stuff and sell our own stuff, and the security guy came up to me. He was like, "What the hell is going on over here?" I was told there was going to be 20 people in this line. There's 200.
Yeah, right.
I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, we're flying by the seat of our pants here. So
Oh my God. Well, I guess you just kind of answered what the last question I was going to have is, are you going to have any other official music videos? Because you got When I'm Gone and then Rolling Sevens, which I absolutely loved out there.
Yeah, we just dropped that one. So
yeah.
I imagine when we get home and see how Rolling Sevens does, we'll figure out what we're going to do with
man.
Whatever the next one is. So
stoked.
Nothing's done yet, so we still got some work to do on this first EP, and we'll make sure it's interesting for you.
Oh man, very, very cool. Okay, well again, everybody, I'm Scotty J. You are watching Rock Titan Live, and we are here with Mark from Dirty Honey, who is going to be one of the biggest rock bands on the face of the earth, like in the very immediate future. I mean, 2020 is the year of Dirty Honey. Woo! How about that? 2020, the year of Dirty Honey. How about that?
It's like the year of the tiger.
Oh man, I'm telling you right now. All right, Mark.
Man.
All right, dude. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Rock Titan Live, everybody.
Pleasure talking to you.
Yes, sir. We're out.
Take care.
All right, everybody. So, welcome back to Rock Titan Live, and I've got a guest with me right now that I have been absolutely. All right, everybody. So that was Mark from Dirty Honey. And, man, these guys are exploding. Absolutely exploding. I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was fun. And, obviously, I went a little nuts. I did. I went all fanboy on them. I couldn't help myself. These guys are going to be huge. I'm telling you right now. I'm just saying. These guys are going to be winning music awards. I mean, Zach, you heard him. You saw him live. I didn't even get to see him live. Would you concur?
Yeah. Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah, man.
Undoubtedly.
Oh God. So not only are Dirty Honey tearing it up right now, but we got to catch up with another band. Right before Dirty Honey, as a matter of fact. It's been a crazy 36 hours. Let me tell you right now. We got to catch up with Wayward Sons. They've got their brand new album coming out. Oh man, soon, within the week, these guys got a brand new album coming out, and we got to catch up with Toby, lead singer, and dude, absolutely awesome. So everybody, we go from hanging out with Dirty Honey, and now Zach, we're gonna go get to hang out with Wayward Sons. So everybody, stick around. And this was a great conversation. I hope you guys enjoy it. Here we go. Rebel, you ready to rock and roll with me here? Or are you going to play this? Or are you going to grab it the same way you did before?
We are ready to rock and roll.
All right. We are going right now. Everybody, meet Toby Jepson. All right, everybody. So we are back on Rock Titan Live. I've got a phenomenal guest with us right now. Really looking forward to talking to him. You can see him on the screen right now. We have got the man, Toby from Wayward Sons. And Toby, you got a sophomore album coming out in just a couple days, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah. This Friday over in the UK, and I think from around the rest of the world, obviously. Really looking forward to getting it out there. It's been a little while in its coming to fruition, but we're really excited about it. It's good to be back on the airwaves.
Right on. So the truth ain't what it used to be, and of course, this is the follow-up from your very first album that you only came out with a couple years ago. I would imagine you only just started finishing touring with that one, and we're talking about Ghosts of Yet to Come, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of finished the touring cycle of that album this summer. We did a whole bunch of festivals. We finished in the UK at a festival called Stone Deaf, which was in Newark, which is a new festival over here.
Okay.
Which is the last gig really of the album cycle. And we're about to get back on the horse again over here in the UK with the launch of this record. We're touring with Black Star Riders in the UK and Europe, and so it's exciting. It never stops. I mean, it's I'm kind of the mind of getting back to the process of making records. Within a year of each other, actually. Because, I mean, obviously a lot of my favourite artists, David Bowie, Queen, Thin Lizzy, all those great bands often put 2 albums out a year, you know. So
Right.
not that I'm going to be able to get. I don't know whether we're ever going to be able to return to that, but certainly I sort of find the whole waiting for 2 years or 2.5 years for an album to come out sort of a little too long. So we've, you know, it's been 2 years since the release of Ghosts Are Yet to Come. So we're happy to get this one out. But I'm hoping that the third album, which we're already halfway recording, believe it or not. I know. I must be mad. I know. But we're already halfway through that, and I'm hoping I can get that record out, you know, at least, if not within a year, as close to a year apart as I possibly can, because I just want to keep going, and I want the story to keep evolving, you know, Scott. And it's one of those things where I think if you know, in this day and age, everything being so instant, and everyone will be able to, you know, listen to a track for 2 seconds and then move on to the next one and all the rest of it. I'd like to try and slow it down a little bit and get people to just take part in the record and enjoy that record, but then always be something new coming along and keep the story rolling, you know.
Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, again, everybody, we are here with Toby Jepson, and we are talking The Truth Ain't What It Used to Be. Now, you just said you weren't going to be putting out 2 albums a year, but you're already talking about your 3rd album. You're halfway through it. You know, it's like you're contradicting yourself already, Toby.
No, what I mean is it took us 2 years to get this record out after Ghosts Are Yet to Come, and I sort of said to the label, I'd like to sort of, you know, the 3rd album to come out, you know, a year after this record. That's what I really mean, is that I would like to speed up the release process, so we get back to that kind of almost that old-fashioned journey of, you know, the album cycle being taken a year or so, and then a new album comes out, and you can just continue the journey, you know. And but anyway, we're on this record, and we're excited, Very cool. I really hope people like it.
Right on. Now, how do you feel about how Wayward Sons has evolved and the success you've had with this band? Because I know that, you know, we were talking a little while ago before we formally kicked things off about, you know, Little Angels, and you had some mad commercial success with that. Now, you as an artist, you know, especially as a singer, songwriter, you're the man. You know, Wayward Sons is your brainchild. Do you ever have like any level of anxiety with something like this, where you're trying to repeat the success you once had, or are you just comfortable letting things go organically and whatever happens happens?
Yeah, I think the latter really. You know, I've been in this game for 30 years now, and
Right.
you know, and I think what I'm interested in is the work. I'm interested in writing songs and getting that music heard. You know, and it's a really difficult thing to do. I mean, I think this day and age, you know, with the way that the record industry has changed, you know, you're part of the white noise in many ways. You think about the amount of music that's released these days and through the internet, and the fact that people don't need record labels anymore. There's been a proliferation of music, but I still maintain that great songs are hard to come by, and what you should be doing is concentrating all your efforts on writing as good a material as you possibly can, and hoping the message and the narrative is really clear. And yes, so that's my process. I mean, Little Angels was a band that we had when we were kids. You know, I think we signed a record deal. I was 20. Our keyboard player was 16 years old. You know, so we were young kids, and since that time to where I am now, I've learned an awful lot about the process. Obviously, I've become I think a better writer, and I'm interested in, like I say, just keeping going, just keeping making music, and hope that people like it. Whatever comes along as a result of that, I accept with great pleasure. Sometimes it's I've had successes, sometimes I haven't, but the important thing is to never stop and just keep going. That's what I feel.
Awesome. I love it. So, what's with all the clowns, Toby?
Well, isn't the world populated by clowns at the moment? This is the point. You know?
Oh man,
this is what it's all about. It just seems to me that we've gone completely mad. I mean, I sort of, when I was writing this record, you know, I got stuck in that sort of thing where, you know, how do I follow up an album that's had some relative success? I mean, Ghosts Are Yet to Come was received certainly critically very well around the world, and I didn't really know or anticipate how well that record was going to do. You know, I put the band together, and we had some fun, and I was quite inspired, and you know, we made that record on with full of joy, but none of us knew what was going to happen. So then, of course, it did well, and I sort of found myself in a situation where I was thinking, now what do I talk about? What do I say now?
Right.
But actually, the narrative was right before my eyes. I mean, we're going through. I think the world is going through some extraordinary changes. Certainly, sort of, without getting too heavy because I don't want to. But it's certainly from a political point of view and from social politics and all the rest of it around the globe. It's incredibly difficult to navigate right now and to understand it. And I sort of hit upon the idea of clowns, really, because I just sort of look at an awful lot of the leaders that are supposedly leading us. I use that term very loosely. And I just think it's like living in a sort of an alternate universe where the lunatics have taken over the asylum, quite frankly.
Man, yeah.
So, I mean, and I think, we have to laugh at these things. If we don't laugh, then we'd be screaming ourselves into oblivion. I mean, I look at the current climate and I sort of think my responsibility as an artist is to report on it. I mean, I'm not a politician. I don't pretend to be. I'm not interested in being a politician. What I am is a human, and I'm trying to talk about the human experience and trying to hold a discussion with people and say, look, we need to talk about these things. We need to start to realize that we're, there is only one place. We only live on one planet. We've kind of got to find a way forward. And it certainly doesn't seem to be very positive right now in lots of ways. And so, but I think the only way that you can combat that, Scott, is you've got to stand up to it. You've got to be able to talk about it. You've got to wave a flag and say, hang on, let's have this conversation. And I'm really pleased that I, in my own small way, can do that. And I hope that people can understand that and they can get into the idea of what the record means, because it's about the search for truth. It's about what are we doing to ourselves at the moment? How are we managing to? How have we got to this place? Why are we in this place, etc., etc.?
Well, I think that the public is more likely to get the truth from artists such as yourselves than they are the mainstream media, because like you touched on, I mean, things are very chaotic over in the UK as they are in the United States, and just worldwide, it's a catastrophe. And I love the fact that you said, you really need to have that sense of humor about it all. You almost need to laugh about it. Take it seriously, but you gotta laugh about it because if you get too into it, you'll lose your mind. But
absolutely.
That's one of the things I want to talk about there. So everybody, The Truth Ain't What It Used to Be by Wayward Sons comes out October 11th. And, when I mentioned the clowns for everyone, if you haven't already gone and, gone on YouTube to check out some of these new songs from this album, the clowns, all right, we've got Any Other Way, we've got Jokes on You, and Little White Lies. So far, and I guess there's a fourth one, yeah? So it's a story. It progresses, but the one common theme is we've got all these clowns. And one thing I thought was very interesting, Toby, and I kind of want to dive into this specific song a little bit, because it touches on so many different things, so many different landscapes. And maybe you were conscious of this, maybe you weren't, but that's what I want to find out about. Specifically with Jokes on You. I noticed that when the video starts, the song, I guess your song doesn't officially kick off, but, when you're starting to tell the story, you've got Folsom Prison, by the legendary Johnny Cash singing in the background, and then you've got all these clowns walking around. And it immediately struck me because right now, one of the big movies that's out right now is Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. And I just thought it was funny that, here's the Joker, he's a clown, but then one of Joaquin Phoenix's biggest movies was, Walk the Line, where he played Johnny Cash.
That's mad, isn't it?
And he actually did the vocals, and I'm just thinking, you know what? I wonder. I don't know. I don't know Toby, but was he actually like so cerebral, in this particular song, with all the clowns, with Joker coming out and Johnny Cash playing Folsom Prison in the background, that somehow Joaquin Phoenix is tied in all this? Is he one of the clowns in this video? I'm looking for Joaquin Phoenix. Could he be in here somehow?
Exactly. Well, now if I rip off my mask, Scotty, and underneath you will find me. Honestly, it is purely coincidental, but
wow.
It is. I mean, maybe this is the whole point about the world, isn't it? That you're only 3 steps away from everybody and all the rest of it. I mean, when I put together this whole record, the Joker film hadn't been announced. we've always used Folsom City Blues as a walk-on for Wayward Sons. Because we're all massive Johnny Cash fans, and Johnny Cash, in many ways, is one of the pivotal artists, the US artists that used music and his art as a kind of protest. And I think I grew up with that San Quentin record and all the rest of it, and my dad used to play Johnny Cash all the time, so he's always been present in my life, and so it kind of was. It's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek sort of like, I don't know, love story for us, really, the love of Johnny Cash. And so these things are unconnected in terms of what's happening now, but that's what's crazily cool about it.
Isn't that wild? Did you ever even think about any of that, or am I the first person that brought this up? Isn't that amazing how they all connect?
No, isn't that mad? But that's the world, isn't it? I mean, I think this is what's so fantastic about the way, certainly about the way that the world is working at the moment from a communications point of view. I mean, I think there's an awful lot to be answered for in terms of social media and the way that Facebook and Twitter and the Twitterverse and all the rest of it, have compounded the problem of what is the truth and all the rest of it. All these things we've been discussing, but at the same time, the very fact that it's so wide open and it allows conversation and discussion and things can spread so quickly. I think this is a, it's kind of a poison chalice in many ways, but I think it's a fantastic thing. And so I think the messages transfer very, very easily. And maybe there are it's constantly subliminal. I don't know. All I know is that when I was writing this album, it kind of popped into my head, and it was entirely driven by the concept that, maybe there is an alternate. Maybe I'm living in an alternate universe. Maybe one day I'll wake up and this kind of world of nutters that seem to exist at the moment.
You'll be a hatter, Be a
exactly
hatter.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pinch myself and it'll all just be I'll be living inside a movie, and that's kind of what it feels like. And so that's the premise of this record. That's the search. That's the narrative, is to hold that conversation. And it just seemed absolutely right to me to use the kind of image of clowns, because let's be honest. I mean, not everyone likes clowns. Some people are absolutely terrified of clowns.
Well, you've got it out there right now, so yeah, with Pennywise.
And that's another weird one. I mean, when I was talking to my manager, you've got to remember, we started writing this record over a year ago. Okay. And so when I was talking to my manager about the whole idea of it, and he was saying, "What's it all about? And what you're talking about?" and I started explaining it. All right, the first It movie had been out, and I've been a Stephen King fan for ever since I could read, so okay. I know all about his work, but I didn't stop to think that, I was aping that or I was using that. It was just a story that existed. So I don't know, maybe this is the way that the universe rolls out in front of us, and you just have to sort of learn to, you have to sort of decide to get on the train or not, So yeah, I think it's cool, and I think it's obvious that people are thinking very similar things in that case,
Right on. Now, staying, in the kind of the theme of the music, the music videos right now. I don't know if a lot of people know this about you, in your past, but in your time, when you're not doing music, you've done some acting. You've got some film credits to your career. Do you not?
I think acting might be a slight exaggeration. I think glorified standing about eating donuts just about sums it up.
Being an extra, okay, all right. but have any of those experiences that you've had, like on the film side of things, did they have a part to play in the music videos that you've put out there? Like any directing? Do you handle the directing, or do you just totally leave that to other people?
No, I write and direct it. I mean, certainly on this set of videos, I've written and directed all this. And on the first album with the zombie theme that we had, I wrote that, and I co-directed with a friend of mine who's a guy called Jay Hillier, who's a fantastic young British filmmaker. And the film business is something that I've always had a dalliance with, and it's something that I definitely want to do more with as I go further into my career. Right. So yes, I mean, I spent about 3 years working in the film business in between music projects. I worked on Gladiator, the Ridley Scott film, and all kinds of things. The last job I did was on The Band of Brothers, which was a World War II Steven Spielberg, if you remember that.
Sure,
yeah. So I worked on that, and it's the film business has been kind of almost like parallel in my life. In lots of ways, I used to be heavily involved in the Little Angels video making as well. So it's something I've always enjoyed, and something I will continue to try and do more work with as I go down further into my life.
I love it. So moving on to other topics, but in the meantime, everybody, again, we are here with Toby Jepson frontman of Wayward Sons. They got their brand new album, The Truth Ain't What It Used to Be, coming out October 11th. So, I want to talk a little bit about touring, like some of the things you have going on, because I know in the past you have played with a number of artists. I mean, the number of collaborations, the people that you've toured with, it's a pretty awesome list. A couple people I want to touch on specifically because they're near and dear to Rock Titan's heart. But, UFO, I know that you had a chance to go out with them. We're good friends with Vinnie Moore, who is now hitting the tour trail with UFO again. And then one of the big things, and I kind of want to touch on some other things, Saxon, because I know Biff Byford, you and he are mates, yeah? And he had a, kind of a health scare not too long ago, huh?
Yeah, poor old, and he's he went through a heart operation, which he's now he's now recuperating at home. But I mean, Biff's a great guy. He's been a very big supporter of mine. I mean, I co-produced one of the Saxon records a few years ago.
Right. Was that Thunderbolt or which?
No, it's Call to Arms. I did, which is probably about 4 albums back, I think.
Right
on.
Back. Yeah.
And that, me and Biff have been friends for years, and he was a big hero of mine when I was a kid, and so to end up working with Biff was something extraordinary, let me tell you. And we've just been mates, and he was the first guy to come out and support Wayward Sons in lots of ways, and he asked us to open for the band on the part of the European tour last year on the Thunderbolt record, and it's just a joy, and he's been poorly, but Biff's almost like a sort of English oak, he's stronger than most.
We had a good chat. And I know what, he looks at life in a very real, perspective.
He does.
Because I know that the last time we talked, it was actually very shortly after Lemmy had passed. And I know that he and Lemmy were close. So it's just like, Biff, like, do you ever think about your own mortality now? Not that you're old, but do you think about things because you've been, doing this for so long, Does it make you think about things any different? And straight up, he was just like, no. When the bullet's got your name on it, the bullet's got your name on it, I mean, you just do what you do. You live life the way you want to live it. But at the same time, I'm thinking, are there any bucket list items that you'd like to check off? Is there anything that you haven't done where, if you had your druthers, if it was your choice, is there anything that you'd regret if you didn't get to do it? And, so I do kind of want to touch on that because another legend that we just lost, I'm curious, did you ever have any interaction? Did you ever meet Ginger Baker, who just passed?
Sadly, I didn't meet Ginger at all. But, obviously a huge fan. And I think, we're in that period of time now, aren't we, where, the greats, the real greats, the ones that we've all been living with all of our lives, even if you sort of came into, like with me, when I was a kid, I grew up with Queen and I grew up with obviously Zeppelin, but even Zeppelin were sort of over by the time I was sort of like not even 10 years old, sort of thing. So these enormous sort of characters in the rock and roll business, inevitably because it's generally the first generation, really, in lots of ways, wasn't it? Are all coming to their old age, and so we're starting to see an awful lot of the old guard passing away, and this is just an inevitability.
Sure.
But it doesn't make it any easier to deal with, does it? Because we're seeing our heroes disappear into mythology, really now. I mean, I work with Fast Eddie Clarke from Motorhead for years, and I sang in a reinvented version of Fastway for years when Eddie got back on the horse, and I worked very closely with Eddie and made a record with him and hung out with him, and sadly Eddie passed away 18 months or so ago, and it's been and it wasn't long after Lemmy had gone, it wasn't long after Filthy Phil had gone, and these are the guys that created this business for us,
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, what you've got to look at it, you just got to go, well, you know what, that legacy is going to live on forever. That music's going to continue to inform us. We're never going to forget it because it was so potent. And really, someone like me, I really think I'm sort of standing on the shoulders of giants. I mean, to hang out and work with someone like Biff Byford, I mean, who I grew up listening to,
right,
is an extraordinary thing. And I completely agree with Biff. I think I hope I keel over on stage at the grand old age of 89 or something. And
I think I remember you saying something like that. Yeah.
Still trying to jump off the drum riser with a star jump or something. You know what I mean? I hope I can still do that. But because that's what it's all about. You've got to live your life how you've got to you've got to lead the life you want to live, and that is a big lesson. And Biff's a prime example of someone who's done that, and never a greater example.
Right. So as you're planning Wayward Sons tours, do you ever kind of you yourself look at who you would like to tour with? Like, do you actually focus? Do you have a real stiff hand in picking who it is that you would really like to play with, based on any of your personal preferences?
Well, I think you know, first of all, I've got a fantastic agent, a guy called Steve Strange, who, funnily enough, was the drummer in Fastway with me and Eddie, which is a bit of a trivia for you there.
Awesome.
In the period that I worked with him. But no, Steve's a brilliant agent, and you know, we have conversations about these things, and we sit and talk about the desires and all the rest of it. But of course, there's a massive amount of competition to try and get on tours of note. It's not always easy, and of course the headlining acts, as I've been a headlining act myself, when bands are offering their services to be an opening act, you choose things based on all kinds of criteria. I mean, we're going out on the road with Black Star Riders in the UK starting this week. Right. I think our first show is on the 10th, so just the day before the album comes out. And then we're going to go into Europe with them. Next year we're in Europe with Steel Panther.
Oh, right on.
And I mean, end of the day, what you do is you want to. Well, I just want to tour as much as I possibly can, and to get this band in front of as bigger audiences as possible. The struggle is to find the tours that allow that, if you know what I mean. So, I've told Steve the kind of bands I'd love to work with, but it's really anyone's guess whether you can actually physically get on those tours. And all you can do is chuck your hat in the ring and hope that the headline band like what you do.
Right on.
Yeah, so we'll just see. But I'm very happy with who we've toured with so far. I mean, like you say, UFO was amazing.
Yeah, you've had some good ones. Living Colour, I know, was on there. Steel Panther, like you said. Yeah.
Living Colour was brilliant this year in July. They're huge heroes of mine. And
yeah, Corey Glover, he's great. We just talked to him a little bit ago. Yeah, awesome.
Fantastic
awesome
people.
Yeah. So I want to be sensitive of your time, and I know you need to move on to other media rounds. But so what can we expect next from Wayward Sons? Is this story going to continue with the clowns? Do we have other music videos that are going to be coming out in support of The Truth Ain't What It Used to Be? October 11th, people. We got new music videos being directed by Toby Jepson.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we've already filmed 4, so
right.
We've got one more video to come in this sequence.
Okay.
It's likely we will film another video for one more song off the album, but I think what I've wanted to do with this narrative of this video is to create pretty much a full narrative piece, and we're going to re-release, I think, all of the footage as a dramatic piece, as a small film at some point as well. So that's going to be available. But really, our focus is on touring, Scott. We're going to get out on the road and do as much as we possibly can. We're really pleased with this record. We really hope people get the message and understand what it's all about, and we'll get a chance to come into every territory we possibly can. I mean, I would love to come to the US and play. That's definitely on our within our sights, and awesome. It'll all come down to when and how, if you know what I mean. But
very cool.
The short to medium term future is to get out there and play and just to make this record happen.
Awesome. Well, Toby, thank you so much again for joining us on Rock Titan Live, and everybody, make sure you go check out Wayward Sons on Google, just the Google universe, man. All you got to do, Wayward Sons. You'll find everything they got going on. You'll find out everything. I'm Scotty J. We're out.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. So we are back on Rock Titan Live. I've got a phenomenal guest.
Hey, buddy, this is Scotty
What's
J.
up, guys? This is DJ Zach.
Hey, guys, you're out with Ambler.
Rock Titan Live on W4CY Radio every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern.
You're listening to Rock Titan Live.
On W4CY Radio.
You are listening to Rock Titan Live
every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern.
Rock Titan Live every Tuesday from 9 to 9:50 p.m. Eastern.
Scotty J.
DJ Zachy D.
out with
Rock
Ambler.
Titan Live on W4CY Radio. Hey, everybody, this is Scotty
What's
J.
up, guys? This is DJ Zachy D.
Hey, guys, you're out.